Hey YouTube, it's Seth here, and today I'm bringing you this year's armor review. Now, the criteria for judging these remains the same. You've got arts and stats, so without any delay, let's get to it. At number 5, we've got the shapeshifter armors, that is Baby Sacragon and the Brain Spider. Now, Baby Sacragon triggers on your monster's strength, and the Spider triggers on intellect, and if they trigger, they basically get a 10% damage boost, which is pretty good. They look decent. I mean, they're exactly reskins of the monsters available in the game. But the Sacragon is a pet too, so there's that. But they get the job done, and Sacragon is probably the most damaging energy armor in the game because Taladosian has the varying attack pattern, and Ultimon's 3 hit too, so well, same as Brain Spider, but these have better overall offense, not taking into account skills. The only problem I have with these are that they have low combat defenses and pretty useless secondaries, to be honest. I mean, 48% to 2 elements is not really that great, and we don't have that many multi-element monsters either, so it's really wasted while it could have gone into making the combat defenses higher, or it could have been a lot better, min-maxed. Now, the only criteria to get these is you have to be a guardian and at least level 105. That's when the lowest tier attracts. And the best thing about these is that they stay in your spell slot, and you don't actually have to store them in your armors, so warriors and rangers will especially like this. They beat out some pretty good competition and other shapeshifts armors too. Now, coming to number 4, we've got Spirit Protector, which was one of the first armors we got this year. I think the second one after Pixel Hero. Now, what's so great about this is it compresses fire and ice, which is pretty unheard of unless you buy the $100 Champion of Terrasol or 2012's Full Metal Santa, which was pretty amazing as a matter of fact. Now, it's got a fire skill which can paralyze your opponent, which is really great, and in case you're a Polala mage, you might want to pick this up because it's really worth it. Now, the downside of this to me is, well, it doesn't actually have any downsides, except for the fact that it costs you an ultra rare box, which, let's face it, are pretty hard to come by, unless, you're like me. Most people spend a ton of tokens and still manage to not get a single one, so accessing the armor itself is pretty hard. Other than that, it's got great stats, it looks great too. It's based on the GOAT that came out for the Chinese New Year competition to design any equipment you want into the game. And I'm not sure what's the name of the person who won it, but he did, and this is the result. A great armor, and definitely worth checking out. Now, coming to number 3, we've got the Frozen Dragon Slayer, which is probably the most it is the most recent armor among all of these. Now, what's so special about it is it's got the only void skill that is available to players that isn't a temporary item. So, in case the monster's a dragon, you can hit it with void. If it's just a Draco or Dragonkin or a Wyvern, you can hit it with harm, and if it's nothing, you just hit it with ice. It's got decent elemental compensation, it defends against ice, and it's got great magic defenses, so if you like dragon slaying, this is something you definitely want to check out. The only downside for this, for me, is the neutral lean, which makes it basically a utility armor, reducing it to something like Ebony Sepulture form that came out last year. That was, for undead slayers, basically. You can just turn something undead and then use the Doom Knight Armory to profit, I guess. Other than that, it looks amazing, absolutely amazing, and it's got some good synergy with Draco Morgrify. You can synergize it with the Drago Sector, but the issue again arises is that it's ultra rare, and Drago Sector is ultra rare too, so you have to spend quite a few tokens to get both the items, and unless we get more dragon slaying equipment that's up to the level, you're gonna have to keep this as pretty much just a utility armor whenever you encounter monsters with really low resistances. Now, coming to number 2, we've got Aquanauts Hatred, or Aquanauts Form. Now, this is available only from the 20,000 Z token package, which costs $50, which is the axe, literally. Now, the axe has nothing too great about it. It's 20% proc, a decent special, but the armor is absolutely fantastic. It's got 39% to fire, 44% to earth, which makes it pretty much the best raise the weed killer in the game, or any plant for that matter. And it's got the strongest fire skill in the game. Probably the only thing that beats it is the Flame Guardian Dragon form, but that's rare. This is your best shot. Let's see what else to talk about it. Yeah, it looks great. Come on, it's a dragon, and it's a fire dragon, and it's Aqualot. What could get better, possibly? And it's got decent animations. I don't have any complaints whatsoever, except the neck just keeps on growing bigger, and it reminds me of something else, which I shouldn't probably be talking about right now. Coming to the other part of the armors, it's 4 hit skill, and it's an absolute nuke. Now you can combine this with something like a freezing skill from the new Dragon Slayer sword, or the magic ice katana. And in case, again, if you're a mage or a thunder ranger, this is something you should definitely pick up, because we definitely lack fire skills. The only other one in game is Fatal Chimeran, which is pretty weak, and the other option being Doom Knight, which, let's face it, aside from the art, is actually pretty horrible, because it costs tokens, and for whatever reason it's got the triple resistances. Low combat defense is sort of screwed up for it. Aside from that, in case you have $50 to spare and you need a fire armor, this is something worth definitely checking out, because you will not regret it. I've personally tested it on one of my mates' accounts, and there's nothing bad I can probably say about it. And this brings us to honourable mentions. They're on the screen right now, and coming to number 1, I don't think there's any doubt whatsoever, and that is Predatory Vampire Form. I mean, if you get a Batman armor, you put it on top regardless of anything else. Now, it's got amazing darkness defenses, that's 39% standard actually, and great magic combat defense. And aside from that, the defenses are pretty horrible. I mean, I think it's got 57 for its secondaries, but I'm not all that bothered. What's important is that this armor sacrifices its HP, its skill basically sacrifices HP 135 at the end game, and for that you deal 25% more damage. Now, this is a one-time cost for 4 turns in which you deal 25% more, and it can be spammed whenever you finish it. So you can deal 25% more damage for literally every single turn, for the cost of taking 1 turn of extra damage, which isn't all that great, especially considering most battles won't last that long, where it will become an issue, unless of course you use Sacrigon's Spur or Onrod's sword along with it, in which case, yes, you will probably get murdered. What else? Yeah, it looks amazing, let's face it, and it's an armor which was promised back in 2013 when we got the Savage Werewolf form. Now, the only problem I have with it, again, is the ultra rare shop. It was available only for a month, and for those who managed to get it in that period of time, well, all great. But for those who didn't, well, that certainly creates an issue, because, it's permanently rare, and let's face it, almost all the good darkness armors at this point, like Nolgath, Predatory Vampire, most of them are rare, except in the case of Ultimon, and Fallen King will soon go rare as well. The armor looks great, its animations are pretty decent, and aside from the ultra rare, I cannot complain at all. I've got this armor on 3 characters of mine, and I probably would have tried to get it on the 4th, but I ran out of tokens and I couldn't open an ultra rare box for the life of me. That's all I can say for this, really. I mean, it deals the highest damage in the game, so yes, in case you want the strongest armor out there, yes, it is the strongest armor in the game that is not elementally locked, in which case it would be Swaddlefari's Oath. But regardless, in case you manage to pick it up, well, kudos to you. It's great and you will not regret it. And for those who fail to pick it up, like me on one of my characters, I think I have a theory that it might come back next year for Halloween along with the Savage Werewolf, or we might just get a Werepire. In which case, that's all the much more better, to be honest. And well, that's it for this video, and in case you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments section below and I will get back to you. And yeah, until next time, this is it. Cheers and thanks for watching.